game starts. You guys are all rushing into the house. The remains of the drones are still in the street. Did you guys bring anything with you from those drones, or?
Well, the drones are in the street right in front of right?
Yeah, let's say like 20 feet in front of the.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so we can
Maybe a
run out
little
and grab
farther
them
away.
if we need to.
Yeah.
Yes, we can run out and grab them.
Okay. Do you want to run out and grab them now?
Sure, I will run out and grab them.
Okay. So we'll say you can grab at least two of them, one in each hand. Pick them
Yeah.
up. Either form doesn't matter. You're strong enough in either form to easily grab one of each. And again, these aren't tiny little drones. These are, decent sized, small vehicles almost, but you've got Mighty 3 in either form. So you grab
Yeah.
both of those and you can run in, kind of have to walk in sideways through the door. Okay. So you go in, Adam and Barnabas, are there. We'll say one of them was kind of looking at the window. You guys come in, shut the doors. What would you like to say?
Are you feeling better, Barnabas?
Barnabas responds affirmatively. He's like, whatever that was kind of momentarily past, I feel like myself.
Good to know.
No strange urges.
Well, that is good. So, okay, well, I think maybe we should all sort through what we've learned thus far and figure out what we're going to do next.
Okay. Barnabas says, so drinks then.
Of course.
Be right back, sir. He goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys can sit down wherever you like. If you want, you can, you're on the first floor. So if you remember the map, we have that Curio area that you're probably standing right in front of now. There's there's a library on this floor, but that's where some of the people have been left for safety and snoozy time. There is a side room where Spitfire was, where they were having some lectures. That might be a decent enough place to just sit and talk. There are plenty of extra chairs there, a little table, little whiteboard if you needed it.
I suggest we all gather in the drawing room here, and while Barnabas brings us some drinks, and then we can sort through all of this. There are vampires everywhere. They seem to want something that we have here. They are definitely in the process of trying to round up all of their cattle and ship them off to God knows where, probably to Vampire Land. And so, would we all know about that? Would we all know about the Vampire Nation?
Oh,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I would say Dracula's Vampire Nation is common knowledge, just like Krakoa was. I mean, it was like in the news.
I think the Spitfire lived there. She was a spy there for a while.
Oh, right.
Oh,
well, there you go. So
she would definitely know a lot about it.
So probably heading off to Vampire Nation, and God only knows what else at this point. Clearly, they're gunning for us since they just put drones out in front of our building.
Hmm.
So, what am I missing?
I think I might want to text my friends again or see if any texts have come in from MI13.
Sure. Yeah. So the last communication you had, as I recall, was regarding, it was from Faiza Hussein, who was relatively high up in the chain of command. And one of the last things she said to you was that some of the vampires seem to be looking for you.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll say you can text back. Is there anything in particular you think you'd be interested in, like, in asking, or just you want a general kind of like, hey, what's going on over there?
Well, so I think I did communicate that they were rounding up humans and putting them into shipping. So I guess, maybe I would just give a quick update, back at Bloodstone Manor. They've got a huge boat ready to go out of Boston. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to tell them Boston Harbor because I wasn't going to say where I was.
Okay. 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 Yeah. So she'll respond with, we haven't noticed anything like that specifically here. She's got a British accent too. She'll say the one other thing we did learn is we did find there was another group of vampires that was looking for someone else. Someone by the name, I think you know them, Mortigan Goth.
Mortigan.
And
Okay.
this would ring a bell to you. So Mortigan Goth was a very old friend of your family, of the Falsworths. Going back to the 1940s, and you would remember this, he was so close to the family, even at that point in time, that he had a whole wing of the Falsworth Manor kind of to himself. And you recall at the time there was a young lady by the name of Catherine that came to the manor and was immediately smitten with Mortigan. Something happened, you don't know what. You do know that Mortigan, when I say he was an old friend of the family, you think he was like centuries old friend of the family. You're not sure the nature of this long life of his. But yeah, that long. So kind of got the sense that maybe he didn't want to be around her because he knew it would end in some kind of tragedy, right? Just wasn't gonna happen. Something happened at that time. You don't know the details of it, but this woman was turned, seems to happen a lot in your family, turned into a vampire by a certain uncle of yours, certain John Falsworth, aka Baron Blood. Turned this woman, Catherine, into a vampire and kind of set her off after Mortigan, right? Mortigan's gone now, but kind of pointed her in his direction again towards some sort of vengeance, maybe. Like, you're not sure exactly, like you never got the true story of why that happened. So she caught up to him, but then he wound up being disgusted by her because of her undeath. So you get the sense that he wasn't really a vampire and she was, and now that's like, oh, you thought it wasn't going to happen before. At least I was attracted to you then. She tried to turn him into a vampire to say, oh, you don't think I'm attractive now? Well, what if you're a vampire too? When she sunk her teeth into him and drank his blood, she was cured of vampirism.
Oh, okay.
Other stuff happened. That's maybe where your knowledge of Mortigan Goth ends. But thinking again, you're thinking back like what, 80 years, to like World War II era. So it's all kind of foggy from you, and like you weren't really directly involved. Maybe you heard some of this kind of secondhand. Maybe you didn't even really believe all of it at the time. But the thing that kind of pops for you from what Fiza is telling you is, oh yeah, it would kind of make sense why the vampires would want to get somebody whose blood cures vampirism.
Right.
Not unlike perhaps the reason they were looking for you, since you went through a transfusion with the original Human Torch, his blood,
That
to
seems to have done
sort of
something to
cure
me.
you. So it's like there's a pattern there of them looking at things that maybe might be used as weapons against them. So yeah, we'll say you can talk to her. Is there in terms of like real, sort of moving the plot forward, knowledge, that's what she's ready to give. She'll keep an ear out, but you can certainly ask her if there's anything any additional information you want to know, you can ask her whatever questions you'd like.
Yeah, I remembered the amulet that we took with us.
Mhm.
Perhaps could I get a picture of that and send it to her to see if MI13 has any records on it?
Cullen, you've got that locked up, right? So I guess let's ask Cullen if he's okay with that.
So Cullen, you said you weren't entirely sure what that amulet does. Do you want me to check with my friends to see if they know a little bit more?
I'd like to know a lot more about your friends before I start giving away things.
Mhm.
And you have not been terribly forthcoming about such things. So, but
Oh.
since we're all working together now, since we're all such good friends, we're even sharing fine bourbon. It might be who of us to put all of our cards on the table.
So I can't necessarily talk much about my friends, but I do know that they've got access to a lot of information. And if it can help us, wouldn't you want that edge?
Okay, so being that I'm from across the pond and I'm not an idiot, what kind of a check would I need to make to be able to ascertain that she's probably some sort of agent of some sort?
So,
Would
it's a
that be
good
like a
question.
vigilance or a logic check or what?
Um, what do you have in the way of contacts that could help
Villains.
their villains?
My contacts are mostly in the way of villains, or my connections are in the way of villains.
All right, so I'll give you this. I'll give you this for free with that trait. You definitely, especially since you're from the same side of the pond, you are definitely aware of some villains, notable villains with the same last name as Miss Falsworth here, as she introduced herself. And one of them is Baron Blood, who's been operating as a villain for many decades. And there's even some familial things there. And I'll also tell you that many of the conflicts that this particular villain got into were with his own family. And we'll say that just tangentially, it's not like the Falsworth name equals villains. There's definitely a big split in that family. There are particularly heroic members of this family. And again, that have been passed, certain titles have been passed down from generation to generation. Same with Baron Blood. There have been any number of his descendants, children, other family members that have taken on that name or a similar one. So you
Okay.
think based on sort of how, her outward appearance that she might be someone that sort of leans on the more heroic side. Yeah. But in terms of the group that she's associated with, that's like one step to remove from the villain contact. So I'll say you wouldn't necessarily know specifically what group she's been talking to.
No, but like I could ascertain, given the fact that villains often run afoul of government agencies, that like her behavior is suspicious, and maybe she's, I don't know. I could probably question are you some kind of agent or something like that?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't think agent. Maybe you would think like cop or a Bobby, something like
a
it's.
Bobby.
It's like
I don't.
that's maybe like maybe the sense you get would be like like an undercover
Are you
police officer or something like that.
are you some form of secret constabulary
Sure, let's call it that.
Oh Lord, fucking cops. Yeah. I'm not comfortable with giving information. Trade of information is something that we could discuss. So if there's some information that's going on over there that helps with the situation that's going on over here, and sharing of those of information back and forth would allow us both to have an edge in what's going on, then I'd consider that.
So if I share the information that they've already told me about what's going on in England and specific people of interest, would that be sufficient to build your trust so that we could get more information about the amulet?
Let me finish this drink first and we'll find out.
Well, I'll take another sip of my drink first. And then I will tell you that they've informed me that actually I am a person of interest to the vampires. They're looking for me in Europe. I haven't told them where I am, and I don't intend to tell them where I am, so that hopefully I can escape unnoticed.
I might say that giving them a picture of the amulet might in fact tell them exactly where you are.
That is a good point.
Property of Bloodstone Curios, Boston, Massachusetts. Put your thumb over that, then click send.
Yeah. So,
Did anybody point out IP addresses can be traced to location? No,
Yeah.
no.
I'm not using an IP. I'm texting from a cell phone. But
how can they not trace your cell phone?
well, yeah, they
Well,
could
we'll say she's got, you know,
You
she's got
have
super secret
VPNs and
MI13
firewalls.
spy tech.
All right. Yes. Spy tech, VPNs, firewalls. Got it. I appreciate you sharing that information. I do think that there's some I'm quite curious to know more about why specifically they're after you. But I will not
So
push
am
you.
I.
What?
So am I.
So we know that they came here looking for, well, I guess now we know that they came here looking for you and for something that lets them walk in the sun. So what do you do that's similar to that? Like where's the tie-in?
And that is an excellent question, because I know I'm fast. I know I got those powers when I received a transfusion. Perhaps there is something in my blood that the vampires want, but I don't really know exactly why.
And was that all of the information that your contacts revealed to you?
There might have been one other person that they said was being looked for.
Okay.
But I don't know if you would know the name. Mortigan Goth.
I mean, probably. I don't know. That's up to you. If I
Not really a villain. Do you share anything about him, or just give him the name?
Just the name.
Yeah, we'll say the name doesn't ring a bell, other than it sounds like an old name, right? It doesn't sound like
that sounds very dusty.
that.
So I fair enough. We what else have we learned? Preacher, we learned that you are very good at driving vampires crazy. What else?
Yeah, Alder is very new to all of this. Has never seen a vampire before. What did not, I'm not sure about how common they are in this world, but like, if if ordinary people have doubt that they exist, he was definitely one of those people.
Yeah, I would say there's some knowledge that vampires exist because there have been similar events that have like made the news. Uh, People know that Dracula is alive or undead, is a thing. And much like the mutants did some time ago, the vampires made their case for creating their own nation around Chernobyl. There's like a dead zone. Things have been relatively stable there. Your characters might be thinking it's kind of weird that if a country of vampires that just worked really hard to establish themselves as a political entity would then do like the we're going to blow up the world now kind of thing, because they just work so hard within the system to have whatever's happening now. Like, why would they waste all of that time creating a nation when they could just do this? That's the one thing that probably in world your characters would know to piece together enough. Something about that doesn't make sense. So it might not be like, oh, it's definitely those people over there, that it's the vampire nation that did this, because this seems to make that nation the enemy of the whole world now, which doesn't make sense.
Right, which I think when Jackie was involved in Chernobyl, like she saw a lot of infighting between vampires, but not necessarily that positioning against humans that would explain this right now.
Yeah, we'll say you're definitely aware of there being a tremendous number of factions.
Right.
Many of them within even just Dracula's own bloodline, always jockeying back and forth, always political maneuvering happening, and even across the world, right? It's not, there are plenty of vampires that are, like there might be a vampire group or cell in New York that was establishing to like get their own little fiefdom here.
I was literally just getting ready to bring up New York.
New York vampire.
But as a hunter of such creatures, right? Cullen would say vampires are notoriously bad at working together for long periods of time.
Right.
Just look at what they did to what happened when they tried to coalesce in New York, right? It was because that's all pre-Blood Hunt. So, right.
And you're even aware of there being like relatively, I don't know if good is the right word, but moral vampires that are, that might fight against other more savage vampires, or ones that don't respect humanity. So you would be aware of, say, Morbius. You would be aware of, well, Blade's a dump here, but you would be aware of Blade. There are other groups as well, that some of them otherworldly, that have like we'll say, speaking of New York, there's a group that that was called the Forgiven. They had done some work in New York fairly recently, Upper Manhattan area, and these are sort of good aligned vampires that would fight against other more savage vampires, and even in New York, kind of like in the night, fighting against each other. So yeah, so you're aware of all sorts of different factions, so it's kind of hard to pin down exactly, who this person might precisely be.
We don't know the source of these things, but we do know right now. And Cat's Eye is also around, and I also just remembered that that
She wanted us to find her friend, right?
Right. Well, and there may also be other mutants that are in the same trouble. So, speaking of which, right, her furry friend, right? So, assuming I'm just going to assume that they're probably a werewolf. Just given how she took to our own furry friend.
Yeah, she'll respond by saying, "Yeah, red fur friend," and then
Red fur friend
she'll
equals
point
werewolf.
at Connor and say like, "Black fur friend, red fur
Right.
friend."
Yeah. So werewolves are generally the bane of vampires. We've got an amulet that lets them walk in the sun and could possibly be used for other things. Who knows? So that so seems like they're trying to gather, take out, collect things are that are of high interest to them,
Mhm.
that fall into that category. So I mean, do I don't know where should we go from here. I think maybe the next step would probably be to retrieve the red fur friend, but I'm open to suggestions.
I think that had been why we came back here. Because we were thinking this was
Probably.
a spot to just get a breather before we went
Mhm.
back out. It was kind of on the way.
And I'll say the other thing you can
Yeah.
do is since you have access to some of your records, if you wanted to take a little bit of time, like let's keep it to like 1 hour, I'll let you make another roll to kind of do some more research on the amulet.
Sure, I would love to do that.
Okay.
I talked to Barnabas specifically, like, hey, we had that interesting amulet downstairs. I've got it with me at the moment, but I think you know which one I'm talking about. If you could go and find out, I'm sure we've got something in the library or in one of the archives that has some more information on it. If you could go out and uh try to collect that information and get it back to me as soon as you can, um, that would be very useful.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. He nods. He knows exactly what you're talking about. He can go off, grab that information, and let's say within about 10 minutes, as you guys are wrapping up your conversation, perfect timing. He comes back in, puts the books down, collects your empties, brings it into a bottle.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being ever so efficient.
Are there intoxication rules in this game?
Well, they have the
Uh,
new rules about
healing factor.
being poisoned, so
Healing
we'll get there eventually.
um okay, so does he has he gone through the trouble of bookmarking the specific areas in which of the tomes that I should be looking at?
Yeah, maybe he points out there were a couple or at least sections. Maybe he doesn't have the exact exact areas, but what we'll say is we'll allow you to make like what this does is you can make another knowledge check, but you can do it with an edge this
Okay.
time. And we'll say target number around 14.
Okay, so I got a 17
Oh.
on my a 646. So I guess
Wow.
so I guess I'll re-roll the Marvel.
Yeah.
Reroll. And I'll take the first one because I got a 15 that time.
Okay. Either way wouldn't have mattered. Both hit the target number of 14. So yeah, so you're looking at this, and the texts that you've got are all very very old.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're looking at this amulet, there are aspects of it that just don't quite fit the sort of ancient information in the tomes that you have. It looks like they might have been derived from it, but there's a somewhat more modern aspect to them that you can't quite get your head around.
So okay. So there's something about the amulet as we understand it now that doesn't match up with what's going on with its past with the past writings of it? Do I feel like the amulet that I'm in possession of is a fake or something?
We'll say this. I mean, there are many different types of amulets that sort of do the same thing. Your books refer to the ones that are purely magical in nature. Uh, this looks like it's got some aspects to it that you can't quite grasp or understand. That looks like it doesn't obey the laws of magic that you're
So the amulet that we
familiar with.
have is somehow other than magical.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Van, give me a vigilance check. Target number 12. Yeah, 12.
Combat vigilance. 14.
Okay. Right. So you're all sitting around the table, you're going through the books, maybe you've even divvied up some of the work. Hey, look for these words, see if you can find these words in a passage. And, so you're all kind of like, involved, looking at it over each other's shoulders, trying to make as much progress as possible.
Supernatural.
Van, you have the gearhead trait, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. There's something about the amulet that, and you're looking at some of the images and the sort of old look and feel that they have. And there's something about the images that feel just more modern. Like this amulet feels like a little bit more modern to you. If
In a
Cullen would
mechanical
let
way?
you inspect it, you could I'll let you make a roll to determine exactly what that is, but
Don't let him.
I suppose.
I promise I will not destroy it.
No. I hesitantly give him. I slide the amulet over to him.
okay.
Cool. So I
Give
can
me
roll initiative to smash it.
Yeah, so give me a logic check, but with your gearhead there, I'll give you
Sure.
an edge to it.
And
He
yeah,
had tried to
it
smash
does.
that out of taking off my ring. Anyway.
Oh,
That actually might be worthwhile just because I'm curious to see
Oh
with
my
your
god,
rings.
that would have not been the plan for today, I think.
Okay, so you said logic
Non-combat
check.
logic with an edge.
Okay. So that initial rolls at 10, so I got a 6, 3, 2, 12.
Okay, 12 is what you needed.
Cool.
Okay, so you're looking at it, and you can see there's like a little hole, and it reminds you a hole of like maybe like a cell phone that you might put a little paper clip in to pop something out.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So you can do that, and something pops out, and you look at it, and
It's a SIM card.
yeah, it's a SIM card.
Okay.
But basically, you find a way where you can like pop the top open, and when you look inside, you didn't have a marvelous success, so not anything super detailed, but you can see this is a mechanical, electronic, modern device that's merged with this old magic as well. So this was something that was constructed like this decade. Like maybe the chassis, the outside of it was
Okay.
modeled after, or maybe some of the materials were reused, but it looks like a mesh between old magic and modern science. And when you look at some of the parts, it looks like some of the parts in there are the mechanical pieces are like mass produced pieces, not like finely like an old magical amulet. You could just
Yeah,
look at it and be like,
it
this is a
wasn't handmade.
unique piece, right?
So this is definitely something that was like, yeah, I obviously pointed out to Cullen, did you know that this was part tech?
Not even a little. And now I have more questions. So
One last question
Mhm.
before, like, is there any sort of a power source that I can tell? Is there, a little tiny watch battery? Is there, anything that would indicate that this device has a non-magical power source?
Not a non-magical power source. You can see there are things in here that might require, like you could almost feel a little bit of energy in it now that you have the top off. Maybe even hear a little hum. But there's nothing you identify as a traditional battery. That might be where the magic comes in.
Gotcha.
let's put that back together so we don't damage
Reduce
it
the value?
anyway. Yes. So this is still a sellable item. Thank you. And
Well,
I'll
I
take
will
that.
say that's one reason when we lock it up, to potentially put it in something that might block transmission as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so
I had it back to him.
I think Spitfire would have tried to snap a very fast picture while it was open without the rest of them seeing her.
Are you going to try and do that on the sly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we make vigilance checks?
Yeah, let's ooh, how do we want to do this?
Well, here's a question.
Agility?
How fast can Spitfire take a picture?
Ooh, that's a good point too. If she does it, all
Yeah.
right.
She's using her
Okay.
powers. Yeah, we may not be able to see her.
Yeah, so I will definitely give you an edge on an agility roll.
Okay.
So give me an edge on agility. And
Okay. So
describe to me how you're going to do this. Like, are you going to be behind people? Are you going to be, like what's your tactic for doing this on the sly in general terms?
right. So she was using her phone earlier.
Mhm.
So she's going to essentially use physical misdirection, like body language, that she's not paying any attention whatsoever to her cell phone while getting her cell phone over into place, snapping the picture, and then going back to the nonchalant posture.
Okay. So are you not going to use your super speed then? Or you're going to, like, that sounds more like an ego kind of check.
No, I guess I was thinking more in terms of super speed.
Okay.
She'd be able to do it very fast.
Right. Okay. So a little bit of both. So a little bit like you're not paying attention and then like boom, boom, and then wander back.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's, right. Give me an agility roll with an edge.
Okay. So the agility roll came out at 164 plus 2 or 13. So I want to re-roll the one.
Mhm.
Something. Re-roll. And that gave me an 18, 664 plus 2.
Nice. Okay. Everyone else give me a vigilance check with a target number of 18.
Ooh, I got a fantastic 16.
Oh,
Okay. So
I got a
a
16. No,
okay.
fantastic though.
All right. So failure for Vann, fantastic failure for Fish. Grem.
Well,
Okay. All right. So fantastic failure.
He thinks I took the picture.
um, we'll say that you notice Spitfire acting a little strange, but you never see her do any, like, you don't clock anything with the camera. Maybe you sensed her getting a little close to it, like you're not sure what her intention was, but you didn't determine anything with the camera. She did get the picture off without you noticing it, but you just got the sense maybe something was a little,
I
like she
give
was
her,
inspecting it maybe in a, without you trying to, just a little something
I
off.
just give her some bombastic side eye.
Mhm.
It's like spies. Anyway. Okay, so it seems that there's an entire rabbit hole, a new mystery unfolding from this device. We may, in fact, want to investigate it further. I do think, however, it's imperative to keep it close at hand, and well protected. So we should not let it get out of it, out of our persons. So but in the meantime, I think we'll need to find a scientist, potentially someone who's versed in technology to help us analyze this. But in the meantime, we should probably get to the business of finding Cat's Eyes Red for a friend.
Cat's Eyes curled up in the corner, completely asleep, by the way, at this point.
Does she need some milk?
Right, I'm
Um,
trying to remember if she told us she knew where her friend was, or she thought she could track her actively.
She
Is
thinks
that-
she can track her.
right.
Okay,
So then let's wake her up gently,
Everybody give me a perception check as you're moving to do that. Or
vigilance?
a vigilance check.
vigilance, okay.
7.
14.
13,
Vann, Connor.
And I'm in my human form.
Okay. Right. So you don't get the edge on that, but
Yeah.
still, 14's enough where, you hear a sound that maybe ordinarily wouldn't be a weird sound to hear, near civilization. It's a helicopter,
Oh,
but you're like, oh, that's
Like a heavy, that's like a heavy military helicopter.
I would say you would have needed like, I'm not sure how you would, yeah, we'll say you can't identify the difference. Maybe it could have
Okay.
been like a medical evac helicopter.
All right.
That would be more common. A lot of the hospitals here would have helipads on the
Okay.
on the roofs.
is there like a whoop,
It's
whoop,
about to
whoop,
go
whoop,
down.
whoop, whoop
Yeah.
sound?
Woof, 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 woof,
Okay.
woof.
All right. Hey, cat, up.
No, it's sleepy times.
Yeah, someone's getting ready to attack us. So, guns.
Okay, what do you do?
I shift into wolf form.
Okay, cool.
I think we should take this outside quickly
on the roof or on the street?
on the roof. On the roof, because if it's air, I mean, I don't know. You guys are going to be way better on the street than I would be. I'm going to be more useful from here. So maybe, let's see if we can get eyes on what it actually is first.
Okay, we'll say you have a security camera right out front, nobody there. I'm going to say there's nothing pointing in the sky, but from what you can see, there's no immediate threat,
But we
right
can
outside the front door.
We can clearly hear what sounds like helicopter propellers.
Yeah, again, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where it was.
Yeah.
On the block, it's kind of high up, so you can't really, It's just too hard to pin, especially being indoors. It's too hard to. It's not close. Let's put it this way: it's not close enough where you hear like things
Not landing
rattling
in the front yard.
in their display cases, right? Like you would hear that. So yeah, it's not super close.
Does the helicopter sound like it's staying local, or was it just passing by?
As of right now, a matter of seconds have passed and you're inside, so it's not really precise your ability to locate it. It doesn't sound like it's like flown super fast right by. So it's not it's not like it's not like a plane flying over the house where you could like hear the Doppler effect, anything like that. So I'd say you
Does
wouldn't
it
be able to
sound like
determine that.
does it sound like it's hovering in place?
You're inside a house. You can't
Well,
and
I
you didn't
mean,
roll any
but
marvels. I'm gonna say you have
it
no
would be-
precise. I'm not gonna give any more precise information about the sound unless more time passes.
Okay.
You roll a marvel or you
Or
change the
Spitfire,
way you're able to perceive
Spitfire
it.
Yeah,
is
I'm thinking
Okay.
next I need to run outside so I can get the view of the
Yeah.
sky.
Yeah.
yes.
You already made your
Yes.
rolls. I'm not going to give you more rolls to determine
Okay.
the same thing.
So are you gonna go outside now?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
That exit I know how to find. So run out, just look up and see what I can see in the sky.
Okay.
Be prepared
You
to run
open
right
the
back.
door and you see that standing right in front of the door.
Oh, right. They don't show up on security cameras.
No, they don't. Roll initiative.
Nice.
Maybe we should have ran.
Okay.
We'll kill that for now just so I can use this window for other things.
But did we get any healing from focus?
We'll say 1 hour went by, so you can get your rank's worth of healing and focus back. So just 2 points back, not a lot.
Hey, every little bit helps.
12. That's with the edge.
Ooh. I got a 15.
I got an 11.
Jen, what did Spitfire get?
15.
15 for Spitfire?
Yeah.
And Vann?
I rolled an 8.
Ooh.
And that's even with my edge for situational awareness.
All right, so the clearly a vampire because they don't show up on camera that's in front of you, wearing some sort of old stylized Japanese armor and a Japanese mask, twin katanas at her side, looks to be a female form, even though you can't see the face through this mask. Wins initiative, gets a 17, and on their first move, just whips those blades out and attacks Spitfire. I like this idea. Okay.
That's not a good sound.
Yep. We're going to be attacking, making a close attack with an edge against you. Oh, no.
Okay, what kind of attack?
A close attack. So a
Melee.
sword melee attack.
Okay, yeah, because I have a dodge, but that's effective on agility, not melee.
Okay. So, all right. The initial attack is a target number 21. I assume that hits.
Yeah.
And then we'll use her edge on her Marvel die, even though she rolled a 6 on that for damage. Rolled a 5, so no better.
I'm dead,
Take
aren't I?
51 points of health.
I'm not quite dead. All right.
Yes. That's not it. Because
Oh,
this is
no.
hit and run If the attack is a success, which it was, the enemy takes regular damage, and the character can make an additional movement up to half their speed for free, etc. We don't have to worry about that. So slices and dices you, and then we'll say as part of this action, almost like you see blur lines, not unlike when you're moving, and boom, into the room. And then is going to move her remaining action to kind of get in the middle of the room and then clock where you guys are, and then say, looking at the rose pastor, I see him. Okay, so now let's set the scene. We have the main area, the main room, the vampire standing in the middle of it. Most of the party is in that side room where all the lectures were. You've got eyes on her, blood on her katanas, and Spitfire is at the front door now, maybe about, at this point, 7 spaces away it would be from the vampire that ran into the main room. Spitfire, you go on 15.
I guess I'm assuming, since I thought I was just going to look, I might not have it in my hand, but I think I still had the inventory on me for wooden sticks and a silver dagger. So I would draw one of those.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been using the silver dagger, so probably know where I stashed that last and can easily get it out. And would run over and do my blazing fast fists melee attack.
That good over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Give
So
me
then-
blazing fast fists.
Do I need to do a damage reduction?
Yes. So like all vampire, like, yeah, they have the normal vampire reduction, which is 2. Oh no, but you're using the silver dagger,
But I
so
have
no.
the silver dagger, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So just a regular attack then.
Okay. All right, so I will roll, and then I got a 5, 4, 2 plus 4 equals 15. So I want to re-roll.
And this is against their melee. A 15 misses.
Okay.
But you have the
So
edge, but that'll help you determine which one you want to roll.
so I probably want to re-roll my 2 rather than re-roll the marvel
Mm-hmm.
to get the higher number.
I think so.
Okay. So the re-roll. Wait, what? I got the same thing.
Happens.
Oh,
That happens.
That happened to me.
Six
That happened to
change.
me earlier too.
Okay. Good
Yeah, when I
news.
was looking at it, I was like, oh, it does say re-roll.
Good news. Top of the order. No one's used any reactions. You only missed by 2.
I need to save my reaction for the moment.
I have plans for my reaction.
And
Okay.
the irony is I have 2 reactions, but I
Yeah,
can't
I
use
can't
the
do
help
it.
teammate on myself.
Okay. I don't think let's have Cat's Eye do it. Once this vampire with the strange mask walks in, she stands up and says, "Oh, it's not sleepy time anymore." And then she grows in size and she's like, "It's playtime." And big fangs, big claws, muscles. She just like hulks out. And you see the vampire take a little bit of a look over there, like wasn't expecting like this purple monster to appear from directly behind Alder. Right. So we'll say she didn't even clock this little purple cat thing, and now there's like a monster behind him. So yeah, let's say that definitely earns you an edge.
Okay, so now I get another re-roll.
Another reroll. You can reroll the same die if you like.
Roll that same die. And no,
17. No.
still didn't get me any
All
higher.
right. All right. So despite her her action, but let me mark off that she used her reaction. And we go to Alder on 12.
Okay. Assuming we're sticking with the canon, if she says I see him, he's
Yes.
going to say, see inside your soul.
Awesome. Awesome.
And use pen and stare using the combat trickery reaction, which I can use once per
Nice.
combat. So I will do the ego attack with an automatic marvel.
Target number is 13 on ego.
I rolled 5, 6, 5, so that's 5, 1, 5 now.
Mhm.
So 20, 22.
That'll
hits.
do it.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Great.
So you don't get a reaction because you've got this
Right, that you-
mask in front of you, but maybe detect a little bit of a shiver. Spoiler alert, she does not have the heroic tag, so she won't be taking half damage from this penance stare of yours. So what's your damage there?
12 plus 6 is 18. And then doubled is 36.
Double that is 36. So cool. So that is 36 focus damage, but more importantly,
Yeah.
paralyzed for 1 round.
Yes.
This is a good little move that you have.
That is such
Without
a
a
great
doubt.
move. It really is.
Oh, and I think I'm fine situated where I am.
Okay, great. So Alder, you've used your reaction. We are in Cullen on 11.
I'm gonna use stopping power and just like bam, 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 bam.
All right.
I got a fantastic 12.
Their agility defense is 10 with paralyzed.
Oh,
Ah,
they're
Ordinarily,
great.
if they were capable of dodging, they would not be hit, but their target number is 10. So you are successful with that shot.
And because I was using stopping power, it's a fantastic success, right? So so they take double damage, and the character can make and I can make another regular ranged attack at the same target.
Correct.
So the damage is 44.
Great. 44 points of damage. Nice.
Okay. And now I get to attack her again.
Yes. This was just a
Right.
regular attack. You don't get to use the stopping power. Like you don't have that snowball effect.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, target
Now, does
number.
that mean does that mean I can't use like double tap either?
Yeah, it says my take on that is that it's just a regular attack, means you just get a straight range attack. You can't apply another special
Okay.
thing on that.
Okay. So I just roll again, basically.
Yep.
And still damage reduction 2, right?
Correct.
Okay. The result is a 13, 4, 2, 3.
That's a hit.
Yep. So that's a hit. And then it says damage of 10.
Okay.
So an additional 10 damage.
All right, another 10 points of damage. Very nice. Let's go. All right, so do you want to take any move actions?
No.
Okay. Cat's Eye goes on 10. She is going to jump from here to here. But given that there's like shooting happening, she jumps and she lands on the wall above the vampire, clinging to the wall, and then twists her body in like a really unnatural looking way, the spine just twisting, and her rear leg still clinging to the wall, just kind of reaches down and slashes at the vampire. She's going to be using vicious attack. The paralyzed close attacks automatically hit. But let's give it a roll just to see if she gets a marvel on the die. Well, I have to give the roll anyway. So no marvel on the die, but a 6 on damage.
Yay.
And this is
All
great
right.
because the other die rolls were low, so this would have missed, but because the vampire is paralyzed, she gets that 6 damage. Doesn't have silver or anything like that, but she does have mighty 1, so that does help some damage get through. 9 points of damage. I'll mark that off. So she scratches up the shoulders of this female vampire. And we go to Connor on 8.
Since they're paralyzed, what do I have to roll in order
Just
to
roll and you automatically hit. So we'll move you over
Okay.
here. So your move action is to get there.
Mhm.
And make your roll.
Okay. Just a second, close that. Oh, do they have damage reduction?
They do.
What is the damage reduction?
2.
So that is a 13.
A 13 to hit.
13 to hit.
Okay. So that still hits. Yeah. Because it's
Okay.
an automatic hit. Yeah.
13 to
Bite
hit
her
and
ass.
22 damage.
22 damage. All right.
Bite her face off.
And you did calculate the damage reduction on that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. 22. Knock that off. Okay. All right. So that takes us to now the top of the order. Everyone's reactions are done. The vampire goes and just remains paralyzed. I think we'll get out of the paralysis after Spitfire goes, when it's Alder's turn again. So Spitfire, you have a paralyzed vampire that looks to be maybe just coming out of it right in front of you.
As well hit it with my silver dagger again.
All right. Go for it. Make your die roll. And again, it's paralyzed, so it's an automatic hit.
Okay, so oh wow. This is a nice roll.
Oh,
I got a 19 with a marble in the middle.
very
Well
good.
done.
All right. And using the
Oh.
silver dagger. Very
Right, so I don't have the damage reduction, so 6 times 3 plus 4 gives me 44. Once it's multiplied by 2.
Very, very nice. You guys are beasts. No movement. You're okay there?
If she hits back, I guess I won't want to be here, but I'm not sure she's going to make it through everybody's turns.
Yeah, she's she came in with quite a bit of confidence, but getting hit with the pennant stare on round 1 is never a good thing.
Right. So yeah, I guess I may as well stay here, and I'm still prepped to help teammate if anybody fails any of their action checks.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. We go to Alder on 12, and at this point the vampire kind of comes out of her stupor and is no longer paralyzed.
All right. How's she looking?
Pretty.
Pretty.
There's quite a look, she's bleeding a lot of her own blood. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. I think there are a couple of things I could do. One, I could throw some holy water at her, right? But I don't think that's gonna be nearly as effective as everyone else. So going to or I could try to sense sins to get an idea about what, try to get a little more information before she dies. Or I could try to get lucky with another penance stare. I'm gonna sense sins.
Okay.
I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna look into her eyes, especially as she's targeting me. And make an ego check against her ego defense. Let's see how this goes.
Right. Ego defense is 13.
I got a 16.
Okay.
Not a fantastic one though, which would have been really nice.
That would have been really good. I had a little something special in my back pocket for you if you get a marvel there. Okay, so on a success, character can sense what sorts of horrible things the target has done. Okay, so just like last time, you get this vision in your head. You can see that this vampire looks like they are just surveying an area. You can see lots of other vampires, regular vampires like the ones you saw on the streets, taking out people left and right. Then you hear a lot of screams coming from one area. And maybe it's coming from around a corner from her vantage point, right? This is like everything's from her first person view. You see a vampire head just come rolling around the corner. You hear a roar. You hear a female voice, deep, with a growl in it. But even in the growl, you can hear the hint of a Scottish accent, which I'm not going to attempt, but is you will not take me, in this female Scottish growl. The vampire figure gets up, quietly, coldly moves around the corner, sees this scene of vampires fighting this red-furred werewolf. And the female werewolf is holding her own, but about to get overwhelmed. Then you just see a blur, a splash of blood, and two green eyes staring up at your perspective, and then fall down to their knees. And then you hear this like slurping sound as a blade is pulled from the body of this red-furred werewolf. She collapses to the ground. The vampire shouts something in Japanese you don't understand. Wipes the blade on the fur of the werewolf to clean it. You hear the shink as the blade goes back into the scabbard. And give me a vigilance check. We'll make this we'll make it a target number 15. Make it a little tough.
636 plus 2, 17.
Before she turns around, just out of the corner of your eye, you can see the wound beginning to knit itself back together. So you're at least confident this was not a killing blow. You're not sure whether or not the vampire meant it to be a killing blow, but you can see that this werewolf does, like your friend, have a healing factor. Then the vision ends. Any move action for you?
No, I like being right behind someone else.
All right. Cullen on
Okay.
11.
So from my current angle, are the two lichens in my in the path of fire?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you'd have to reposition. Luckily, Cat's Eye from where she is
Okay.
giving you a better but like if you move to say like over here,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say you'd be able to get the shot off because she's kind of hanging up in the air. Not
Right.
in the air, but above. She's clinging to like the door jamb kind of.
So yeah, I'll use my move action to reposition myself.
Okay.
And then I will do you know what? I think I'll do stopping power again.
Okay.
And
Good
this and because I'm tired of this BS, I'm going to use a silver round.
Okay.
So that brings me down to 6. Okay, so a 16.
Okay. 16 to hit. Defense score is 15. However, she's got a reaction. And she's going to use Skulk.
Oh,
Gonna use Skulk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And rules
is
is
that?
written. Character is a target of a ranged attack. Someone within their reach is not a target of that attack. Character moves for free behind the nearby person, and that person becomes the new target of the attack. So I'm going to say, believe me, it would be so much fun to have her move behind Connor and have you shoot Connor with a silver bullet. I would love to see how that plays out, but
There's
fair is fair.
there's really no reason not to.
I
There's no
can't
reason
know,
not
but
to.
the rules say I get to move. The effect is I move for free behind the nearby person. That's not just possible. The way I see it, the only way this works is essentially what she does is she sees you firing and she kind of does this like matrix jump up into the air a little bit and you raise your gun, and just for flavor, just so it's not just you like being a bad shot, she kind of like slaps Cat's Eye down a little bit as the bullet goes off, kind of pushing her a little bit in the way of the bullet.
Hmm.
So now let's read Skulk here. The attacker's target number for the attack is the lower of the character's defense or the new target's defense. That's going to hit Cat's Eye. She's got a 13. Damages
34.
34. Cat's Eye screams out in pain. Doesn't look like the silver did anything in particular to her. She got shot. Doesn't like that. Throws a really hurtful look in your direction.
That wasn't my fault, mate.
Yeah, so that unfortunately is it for Cullen. And the wounded Cat's Eye is gonna go now.
she attacks Cullen.
Makes sense.
Or she could bite her head off.
Well, what she's gonna do is because she's not as powerful as you guys are. So she's down to she's down to 26 out of 60. She does not have a healing factor. So that's a little problematic. So she is going to attack, but then I think she's going to jump down. It's probably even painful for her to just hang here right now. So let's get an attack in for her. 15. That would be a miss. Missed by 2. Anyone got a help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll just try to push her towards Cat's Eye.
Awesome. +3, 18. That's a hit. We re-rolled the Marvel. We went from a 2 to a 5 on the Marvel die. So that's great. So it would ordinarily be 5 times 3 with her mighty in there. The damage reduction knocks it down 2. So it's 5 times 1, which is 5 plus 3, 8 points of damage. So I'll mark that down. And then with her move action, she's going to jump once again. Actually, she's probably not going to jump. I just think that might hurt a little more. So she's just going to like wall crawl across the ceiling into the corner over there. and then maybe crawl down the wall and just kind of like get into a ball in the corner and just kind of like literally lick her wounds at this point. And we go to Connor on 8.
Well, I don't have any reason not to just do essentially the same thing. And so I rolled melee attack 21. So that I assume hits.
That would
And then
definitely hit.
damage. I've got damage. Her damage reduction is 2, right?
Correct.
Damage reduction 22.
22. Okay. 22 takes that. Not looking great. Certainly slowing down at this point. Any move action?
I mean, where I'm at right now, I can attack them.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get out of this room right now. And if I was behind them anyway, I would then potentially be in the line of fire for Cullen anyway. So I think I'm in a good spot.
Okay. All right. What are we going to do here? We're going to do furious attacks. And we are going to spend 20 points of focus.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Target number she hit 20.
Oh,
Gosh,
do you have a karma? Or wait, does that even
He
matter?
hits me both.
You could use a karma. I will tell you, she rolled a 3-6-3.
Oh my. Yeah, so
I'll tell you the damage. No reason I shouldn't give you the full damage
20.
there. 6 times 49 points of health damage with that roll.
But that's
wait,
split between-
hold on. Let's do the other math here. 49 plus she spent 20 points of focus. So that's another 10 points. 59 divided by 2. So that's 29 points of damage each. Because it's split. 29 points of health damage each. I'll round that down.
What about damage reduction?
Yeah, for you, there will be damage reduction on top of that. For her, there won't.
right. So if I only have 13 health, I can't afford to take 29 damage. What is the karma point trick that
If you spend a point of your karma, you give her trouble, and I re-roll this 6 and
I
take
think
the lower.
I've got to do that. Wait, was this was a melee, not
This
an
was a
agility?
this was a melee. Yeah, this is a sword. This is 2 swords flashing out in both
Right.
directions, quite cinematically.
Right. So my dodge does not help on melee. It only helps on agility. So yeah, I
Right.
get or spend the karma point then.
All right. I rolled another fucking 6. All right. 29 points against Spitfire. Remember, you only die when you hit negative your health. So you are unconscious and lying on the floor prone. She is going to move into the room. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Well, Spitfire would ordinarily go.
But I get to heal too, right? Because
You
it's
get to
my
heal. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Alder,
Yeah,
what would you like to do?
that's a really good question. She's got to be looking pretty bad, right?
She's not looking good. Yeah.
She's not looking
That
good. but-
paralyzation worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she can do some damage. She's got a ×7 on her modifier.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm
And a
not even at full
+7
health. Yeah.
to hit.
I could dodge to give her trouble on her next attack. I don't even know. I guess that might prevent a fantastic success, which might be valuable. She's clearly gunning for me, and this is where Alder's survival instincts kick in. So he is going to dodge as his action, and then run away. So yeah, gonna run and try to put myself behind. Well, I guess behind the door, which would also ostensibly be behind Connor.
The
Okay.
biggest thing in the room.
And that way, yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. You could get over here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my.
Yeah, this particular square is filled with quite a bit of blood.
Yes. Well, it wouldn't do me any good to get behind Spitfire at this point.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can get there. Yeah. And dodge in effect. All right. So that was Alder's. Cullen goes on 11.
Okay. And for the record, she's already used her reaction, right?
A reaction.
Oh no, that was
No.
that was last turn. Huh.
Oh,
That was last turn.
Oh yeah, Skulk was last turn, right?
right. Well, she can't skulk now.
Yeah, she doesn't have any big close enough, right?
Right.
That's-
Correct. She cannot skulk
You cannot skull.
unless her reach was more than one, but it's not. Just to explain the rule. If she had if she was a larger size or something like that, you'd have to worry about that. But she's
Plasticity.
regular human size.
So Mr. Fantastic could skulk.
Mr.
but-
Fantastic could skulk like a mother.
He would too.
Mother skulker, shut your mouth.
Okay. To that end. Okay, sorry. One more thing, right?
Yeah.
You spent a bunch of focus
I did.
in your with her, right? So what
And-
does that do again? Does that just add to damage?
That added to the damage of that roll for that particular power. That power was like a 10 plus power. So spends 10 focus minimum just to operate the power, and then you could spend
Oh,
up to an additional however many more based on your rank.
Okay.
I actually could have spent a little more. I realized with the vampire, it added a +1 to her rank. So I probably could have done another 5, but
Right.
didn't.
Okay. So I am going to do double tap
All right.
introduction. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
A 10.
I can help you.
All right.
I have a
The
reaction.
target number for her is a 15, so it might take either a really good reroll or a couple, but
What are your die?
I have a 1, 3, and a 2.
Oof.
So it won't
Yeah.
up the damage anymore, but
Right, but we could reroll the 1 and get a 6 theoretically to hit.
exactly.
With a shot, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, definitely worth a shot to kill
Right.
this woman.
Alder, after he turns back around after running away, is, "You can do this, Cullen, you beautiful man."
Swear. Okay. Really? Did I do it wrong? No, I didn't. Same result.
Yeah.
The flirting with me only gets you so far. Thank you.
Cat's Eye, seeing everything that's happening, stops with the licking of her wounds, picks up one of the chairs and throws it at the vampire, who turns to bash it away, and giving you her reaction to get another reroll.
Try us again. 15.
Oh wow.
Nice.
632.
Yes.
Awesome. All right,
19
cat's
damage.
eye. Whew.
Sweet.
Okay.
Teamwork,
Jeez.
man. This freaking game.
It makes the dream work. Cheesy, crazy.
All
All right.
right. So, yep. So, cat's eye roars out, throws us chair. Maybe the vampire defiantly slices it in half, and says something. I'll finish you next. And then you hear a pow, and a silver bullet hits the vampire. What kind of damage are we doing here?
19.
19 points of damage. All right, still up, but she's tough. She's got a ton of hit points. You've hit her for 160 hit points
Oh my
health
God.
damage so far.
She is unreal.
She has healed up a little bit because not all of the damage has been silver. That was Cullen. Now we go to Cat's Eye. You know what? Cat's Eye has fearless. She's going to look at the monster. And she's going to look at Connor. And you see a new determination in her eye. And she just says under her breath, just like a statement, black for a friend. And then moves in, wounded, to attack. And let's get a roll. That is a miss. She was going up against a 17.
I will help her.
All right. Cullen uses his reaction. Let's see if we can turn this 3 into the 5
gonna
I
say.
needed. Hits 17 on the dot.
Nice.
Oh, all right.
I just shout a bunch of British obscenities at her.
Yeah.
All right. Hits for 8 points of damage after getting through the damage reduction.
Sweet.
And we go to Connor. Connor, you're the last person to go
Please kill her.
before this thing goes again.
Yeah, same. There's no reason to mix it up. Melee attack. Claw bite. 19 to hit.
That hits.
And damage reduction 18.
All right. That's not enough.
Damn it.
She is still up. Oh, and we're going to say you moved. You want to move over there or over here? Or somewhere else? Behind? You can move any.
I'll say where I am right now.
Okay.
So that way I'm kind of between the pastor and the vampire.
All right. She's still got some focus to play with. So we're going to do the same thing again. We are going to use 20. No, we're going to use
doing this.
Yeah, except I'm going to use everything I can at this point. Reduce focus by 24. And we are going to make an attack roll against the 2 fur friends. All right, that's not great. I mean, it'll probably still hit just because her bonus is so high, but from a die roll perspective, damage roll perspective. So that's a 19. Melee 19. Right, so it's definitely going to hit both of you. Okay. 20 points of damage for Cat's Eye and just 17 points of damage for Connor.
Thankfully, damage reduction works in my favor too. Damn.
Yeah. Cat's Eye had 26. So
and what is she at?
She has 6 hit points, health points right now. Okay, but survived. There's definitely a chance she didn't there. Spitfire, you gain 2 points back. Alder. I can tell you just because shouldn't be a secret. This thing's used
A lot of focus.
like
Yeah, that's a
90
really
or
good
something,
point.
I
Yeah,
think.
and I've that's been clear. So yeah, it does make sense to do another penance dare here. I let her drain it all. All right, here we go. Ego attack. 651 plus 6, 18.
Target was 13.
So the damage is 16.
16 focus damage. All right. Not quite at 0 yet, but a good chunk
If I had done it instead of dodging last time,
there.
now she's gonna attack me.
Well, we'll say you got halfway there. You can see she's, one more stare like that, and you feel like you could really get her to consider all the naughty things she's
But now
done.
she's not paralyzed this time?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, that's only on a fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, and it's what, my turn now?
It is Cullen's turn. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna spend another 5 focus and do stopping power again. I will spend another silver bullet. 5, 6, 4 for a total plus 4 for a total of 19. Boom, boom, boom.
19 points of health damage.
No, 19 to hit.
Oh, it's 19. I'm sorry.
19
Against
to
their
hit.
agility. Yes, that is a success.
And 34 points of damage.
They had 17 left.
Die, 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 die.
Negative 17 now. All right, dead. Whew. All right.
I go over to her and I just put 2 extra bullets in her head.
Regular ones.
Yes, regular ones.
All right. The mask cracks and you can see an ancient, withered, cracked Japanese woman underneath with red eyes and blood, fangs and blood rolling down her mouth.
I want to keep her head. I want it embalmed. Barnabas.
Barnabas is definitely, with all this noise going on, protecting the folks and kind of staying close by them.
Yeah.
Assured that whatever it is, you guys have handled it, but wanting to keep the other folks safe.
Okay. So then I just conscript Adam to like, hey, make, preserve and keep it from dying. Like, I don't, keep it.
Well, I think we had the rules where, I don't unfortunately
They
don't think
don't
there's
turn
going
to
to be any.
dust, right?
Yeah, but didn't we say they would explode in blood? I think we talked
Did we
about.
say that? Fine.
Lots of blood.
Yeah, lots of
I
blood.
don't
So
get to keep the head. I keep the mask though.
you can keep, yeah, we'll say, yeah, because the double, yeah, we'll say the thing, the vampire explodes, in blood, like we've said before, and we'll say just the armor and the mask and a big blood stain is left. So you could keep
Cool.
the mask; it's in one piece,
So
and
we
even
should-
the armor. It looks like
Yes.
something that might be kind of cool to put up on display.
Yes, I
Maybe
have
you could research it. Yeah.
Yes, I have Adam take that downstairs and give it a nice thorough cleaning.
Does anything on her trigger my sense supernatural focus? My
No, we'll
supernatural-
say once she dies, you don't get a sense of anything in this room.
She was talking to somebody. Does she drop an earpiece or something?
Yeah, we'll say that there is an earpiece. Not
Good
even
catch.
like in the mask. It was like just in her ear, and it's just bloodied and on the floor.
I'll try to. I don't know anything about medicine, but I'll try my best to tend to Spitfire, who's next to me.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say, after combat easily you could you could prop her up a little bit. And you get the sense she's on the mend with enough time. Inevitably, each round is like 5 seconds. So, like a minute will go by. I'm sure she'll be okay. So we can just say by the time you start investigating the body and things like that, by the time you get over there,
How's Cat's Eye?
Cat's Eye is wobbling, does not have healing factor. She probably just looks at you and shrinks back down into her lithe female form and says, I think it's sleepy time again. And then she just kind of goes back to her corner and just curls up in the corner and just like passes out. All right. Yeah. So let's end it there. We'll pick up in a couple of weeks. And thanks to everyone for
Fuzzy.
listening.
Bye.